We just had a massive storm roll through, just ended. Check out that view, not bad. Now, you guys know that I absolutely love modular homes, thus the shipping container obsession. And I actually have gotten into home kits, and I just purchased one. This right here is actually packaged up onto 2 pallets, ready to go, being shipped to me next week. And I'm gonna start construction here, hopefully next month. Now, the thing is that it only cost me about $9,000, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much money, but you're gonna figure out why here in a little bit, why I decided on this particular home kit.
So what are the best home kits for you to build that you can either live in or even rent out? That's the big question. But more importantly, what creates equity and cash flows, but also still looks awesome? Because at the end of the day, it's really about looking awesome that really matters, right? Now, I've looked into 7 different kit home manufacturers that you can buy right now with options under $30,000. And I've actually got a nice little honorable mention at the very end that I can't wait to build out myself. And one of these I've actually already purchased and is being shipped here right now. Should be here in the next week or so. And I've got 2 others on my short list of things that I want to build on my next land hack project. First, just a quick little short disclaimer. All right, so the prices that you're going to see here includes just basically the structure itself. It doesn't actually include the utilities, permits, or land. All right, we're trying to compare these apples to apples. So we're basically looking at just the structure itself, and then some of the options will actually include the interior and exterior. And you'll also notice that I'm gonna be ranking these in order from my least to best based off of attractiveness, and then also what I just think is the best bang for the buck. I'm gonna be a little bit biased because I am gonna be planning on purchasing 3 of these inside this list. Let's take a look at the first one.
So to start us off, we are looking at the partnership between Home Depot and Tuff Sheds, which start right around $7,000, actually less than depending on the size. Now, normally when you pull up to a Home Depot parking lot, you'll see a bunch of sheds lining up the parking area that looks something like this. Now, you probably don't think much of it because they're usually used for garden tools and stuff like that. Well, Tuff Shed, who is the primary manufacturer for Home Depot, actually makes premium models that can be used for backyard offices and even the shell of an affordable kit home. Think man cave or she sheds. The cool thing is that they have their own way of constructing these kits using steel framing, and they have crews that can literally build these out in less than a day. Now, you also have multiple different sizes to choose from, but just to keep things apples to apples, we are taking a look at their 160 square foot model that starts at just $9,000. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the shed or the old barn style look, but I love the look of these modern mono-sloped roof designs, and most likely what many would consider, I think Tuff Shed themselves would consider these as their best home kits. Now, what I really like about these is one, is the price, and then secondly is that you can fully customize the inside how you want. So this is just the price for the shell, and then the labor to actually build them out usually costs between $500 to $2,500, depending on how big of a shed you get. But with all that extra money and savings, you can build out and pick out the finishes of the inside or the interior however you want. It's a really great option to kind of kick off this list. Want any more details on where to buy land, how to acquire it, or even how to do something I call land hacking, head over to my website, kaiandrew.com, and download my free PDFs and spreadsheets. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can take a look at my calendar and set something up too. And once you get a little further in this video and you appreciate the content, hopefully, please do me a free favor and leave a like. Just a click for you, but a world of difference for me on my end. Running up next is a small mom and pop place called Bungalow in a Box, right around $28,000, so just right underneath that $30,000 mark. Now, this is what the company calls their guest house studio package, with dimensions of 12 by 16, giving it just shy of the 200 square foot mark, which is good because that's generally the threshold for needing permits in many counties. Obviously, you want to check with yours first. Now, this company was founded by a couple in Maine that were obsessed with building small homes. Fun fact, the co-founder or owner, builder, is actually a physics graduate from Harvard University. But instead of using traditional stick framing like many other modular and kit homes, they use panel framing. Now, panel framing is a new building technique that combines the craftsmanship and strength of timber framing with modern SIP construction methods, or SIP. Now, what I really like is that the prefabbed panels can be quickly assembled and are weather tight from day one, which is a huge bonus if you're building in an area that experiences any type of moisture. Just think of like 80% of the United States. Obviously, they have several other options and kits that you can look at that are below and over the $30,000 mark. Coming in next, which is probably a surprise, is Pacific Yurts, which is, surprise, surprise, makes and sells yurts for less than $7,000. Now that's the smallest version. The version that I would actually recommend you get if you're looking at full-time living or even as a rental is something along the 20-footer to 24-footer, which is between the $11,000 to $12,000 range. Now, I know you're wondering, why is this on here? That's not really a kit home, right? Because we're usually thinking of like hard-shelled structures like the shed. Well, that's because not only are these perhaps the most economical option on here, but in a lot of counties, believe it or not, they recognize yurts as potential dwelling units. Now, yurts actually go all the way back to the days of Mongolia, and Pacific Yurts has basically created an a la carte model for you to order your own kits. As you go through, and you can scroll through here and you can click and select on the size, the wall, the roof, the doors, the windows, and even have additional add-ons. Now, these can be incredibly inexpensive to build out compared to a standard home, and they make fantastic rentals that people really seem to like. Often, Airbnb hosts are able to command $100 to $300 a night on a yurt just like this, which is pretty insane when you think about it. All said and done with the interior, the foundation, the platform, you're looking at between $30,000 to $40,000 all said and done. And then you can make about $3,000 to $5,000 a month off of that. Very good cash on cash investment. Now next is Den Outdoors, coming in at $27,000. Now these took a major price hike since the 2020 fiasco. Their kits used to cost around the, I believe, $17,000 to $18,000 range, but their kits are still under $30,000, and I would consider a pretty good bargain, especially for the design. Now it comes in 3 different snazzy exterior styles, flavors. I'm not sure what you want to call it. One of the styles is more of a natural look. The other one is a chic look. Is that how you say it? Chic? 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 And a modern look, the all black. Now, I'm a huge fan of black on black, so that would be the style that I'd go for. Now, these mini A-frames are only 115 square feet and can be designed for both off-grid or on-grid. Now, these kits also include everything you need for exterior and interior, including insulation and floor-to-ceiling windows. That's why the cost is a little bit higher than the other kits. Now, perhaps not the best place to raise a family in. It's pretty dang small, and they don't have very many other options in this style. But if it's just you and you're handy enough to build an outdoor bathroom, this may be a great minimalist solution to affordable housing and then living a bit simpler. The next one here is Allwood Sommersby, which is perhaps the lowest priced timber-based build for 174 square feet for a cabin, which is 1/3 of the price of that previous Den Outdoors A-frame. Now, the company claims that the kit comes all ready for assembly with numbered drawings and instructions where 2 handy adults can basically complete the cabin in 4 days, which is pretty dang good. Now, looking at the kit, everything is included except insulation, roof shingles, and then obviously foundation materials. And the huge bonus is that they ship for free to all 48 lower states in the United States, which is a very nice little perk because obviously when you're shipping a couple thousand pounds, shipping and pricing gets pretty high. And you can actually get financing through Lightstream to help fund the house kit, so you don't have to pay it all up front, which is always a nice little bonus. Now, I do like the look and style of this, and I think it would go well in an existing backyard. I am a little concerned with the lack of insulation though, and not sure how well this would hold up in really hot or really cold climates. Either way, it's a killer deal for a garden house, a shop, or backyard office, or if you live in a very temperate region, climate-wise, this may make do. But just consider it'd be very difficult or nearly impossible to put in insulation without removing a lot of conditioned square footage. And perhaps my most favorite one on this list is Pacific Domes. Starting at just $5,500 for a dome, so one of the smaller ones, this is one of the most practical and unique kit homes you can possibly buy. Now, don't get confused, it's not the same company as Pacific Yurts, but share a lot of common threads with the two different designs and styles. Now, I actually just recently purchased one of these, and I am actually waiting to put it together myself, hopefully soon, should be arriving next week. Now, these Domo homes have taken over the internet, and perhaps one of the most popular trends in the home kit build right now. Engineered to withstand winds up to 150 miles per hour and heavy snow loads, these futuristic looking dwellings make a fantastic shelter or rental. You can even customize each dome for your specific needs, whether you want ventilation, extra insulation, a wood stove, vents, fans, windows, all that good stuff. Also, Pacific Dome sells an additional insulation blanket that will give you an extra R7 in insulation or insulation value to help keep that heat or cold at bay. Now, two things here. The shell is from this PVC plastically membrane or shell, that's what I call it, that does require cleaning and some maintenance. Something to keep in mind. The nice thing is that you do and can paint it. And the last two options here are perhaps two of my favorites and the ones I'm most excited about. Avrames, I think that's how you say it, starts off at $22,000 for a full kit. 141 square feet, all the way up to almost 1,500 square feet to accommodate entire families. Now, in most areas, once you exceed 200 square feet, you need to pull permits. The nice thing is that they have drawings and structural engineering designs for their kits, although you may have to have a draftsman or engineer update and do small tweaks and such if you're living in a specific state or county, but 95% of their plans should work for you. Now, the other thing that I really love about this company is that the kit includes everything, like I said earlier. Not just the plans, but the interior, the exterior, and the structural, which normally doesn't come all in one kit all the time. You usually have to pay for extra, like Pacific Domes. You have to pay them extra for their engineering design. Now, I've heard and read great things about the finished products here, and I am so excited to try one of these myself sometime in the near future, perhaps on my next land hack project. And then as promised, I have an honorable mention here. It's gonna be outside of the $30,000 and under budget, but these things look phenomenal and I've heard great reviews about them and I'm so excited to actually try it because it is something that's very unique and it feels like a real home, but it can also be used as a phenomenal rental, which as you guys know, I'm always very partial to. It's Deltec, and the shells for these bad boys start at around $51,000 and can go all the way up to millions of dollars. Nah, maybe not millions, but several hundreds of thousands of dollars for a turnkey operation. Now, the nice thing about this for that $51,000 shell is that you actually get more than double the square footage of the previous kit homes at 140 square feet. These come in at 328 square feet. And it has a very unique look that I think is a mash between a lookout tower, like a fire lookout tower, and a lighthouse, which I personally really like. Now, for the one that I'm looking at right now for a full turnkey, not just the shells, about $165,000, and you can customize and build these out and stack them together, piece them together however you want. Now, me, myself, personally, could see myself purchasing that 328 square foot model and putting it up on some 20-foot stilts so it can be like a super fancy fire outlook tower, or up in the treetops as a treehouse. And between Deltec and Avrames, these are the two that I'm most excited about, and I cannot wait to try these out in my next land hack project. Now, I think kit homes will be a massive industry in the future as the millennial generation is getting older and more about the whole DIY lifestyle and living a bit more simply than perhaps our parents' generation. And if you're at all lost on where to even start looking for land to put one of these, check out this video right here where I introduce you to the Golden Triangle concept, to finding the best areas to purchase land and even put rentals. Love you as always, Kai out.